They're playing a psychological game on people. They've made an entire mess of our laws. Okay, no one is actually following the laws of this country. No one is following the common law, and everyone is applying 2-minute statutes. I call them 2-minute noodle statutes. Okay, so here's this common law tradition that has developed over the last 500 years with certain inherent and intrinsic protections, okay, on your rights of informed consent and of your rights to have bodily integrity and on your rights not to be involved in experimental drugs. Now, that has taken 500 years of common law and judicial law to develop. These mongrels in the states and the executive, in 2 minutes, 2-minute noodle soup, Maggi noodle statutes, they come in and create statutes that all of a sudden are supposed to annul the last 500 years of common law development. You have judges who are going to give 2-minute noodle statutes more say than actual common law doctrines. That's what we've seen in the courts. We're seeing left hand doesn't know what the right hand is doing. Why? Because they're creating chaos. Right. They are actually intending to create chaos. What they're going to do, they're going to say, now you can come back, now you can't, now the WHO has said there's a new emergency, now we're going to go back to take your job, now we're going to give your job back, now this person can say no, this person can say yes, and it's creating an absolute state of disharmony. It is completely ridiculing and putting the common law at the behest of international organizations.
Well, that's correct, isn't it? That's right. That's right. It's literally giving, you know, these you know, quasi, you know, centralized power mongrels, if you like, the control over common law. You know,
absolutely. And you have judges who are abdicating themselves fully, who have pimped and prostituted themselves to the will of corporate giants. Okay, and therefore there is absolutely no impartiality anymore in the structure of the separation of powers between the judiciary, the executive, and the legislative arm of government. It is all being usurped by international warmongers. The levels of inconsistencies in this country are diabolical. The left hand doesn't know what the right hand is doing. There's a national emergency playing out. Then there are state and territory emergencies playing out. You've got you've got advisory committees to the federal that don't know what the advisory committees are doing on the states. And then you've got these independent, allegedly independent commissions like the Fair Work Commission, who are just taking the employer sides diabolically, like to just taking the side of employers, and the power as to who can mandate and who can't is lost in the mix. I called out these inconsistencies. There's a federalism structure that applies in Australia under the Constitution, and that's protected. And the Commonwealth took that power when they actually put in place the Biosecurity Act in 2015, which debated the informed consent and created certain minimum protections. When I called that out, every single barrister who's on the books of the Commonwealth and on the books of the states would come against me and speak out against me. Okay, when now that court case is now played out last week before Justice Lee in the federal court, where we presented the inconsistencies. We also presented the merits review in NCAT. And immediately after we won that appeal, the New South Wales pulls out all the government mandates. That's why you see unvaccinated teachers and unvaccinated workers coming back, because we won that case. Now they want to say, we don't have to answer you on the fact that the science that we used was flawed. Because look, we've undone everything now.
Like this notion of liberty, for example. What is liberty?
And I think that concept of the will is very important.
What the? Who says you can't build muscle on a vegan diet? What's it like being a hottie in the vegan community?
Bitcoin will not work as digital gold.
Engineering, technology, these arts of humanity, they are magic.
Everyone deserves the same chance, the same treatment, the same respect.
History's littered with war. History's littered with body scar, trying to settle the score and maintain it on